Okay, so apparently a lot of people wanted me to do an art tutorial. And by a lot, I mean like 4 people. But listen, 4 people is basically a cult, and I'm not trying to get sacrificed, so... Hello, my name is Fangyue, and this is an art channel. If you ever wanted to draw an eye that looks like it could stare into your soul and judge your life choices at the same time, then you're in the right place. Okay, and before we get into drawing, let's lay out the game plan. I'm gonna give you a quick summary of the steps that we're about to do, and do not panic if it sounds confusing at first. I promise it'll all click once I actually show you. So the first things first is that we're going to set up the battlefield. I like to start with guidelines first. So one straight vertical line and another straight horizontal line. Kind of like your old high school X and Y axes, you know? Next, we're going to draw a circle. This basically is the skeleton of your eyeball. And listen, this circle isn't just a random circle. It decides the whole vibe of your character's eye, so pay attention. Because eyes are sneaky. They tell you a lot about a character's personality and the whole perception. For example, rounder, bigger eyes, that's your cute, youthful, innocent character. But on the other side, slender and oval-shaped eyes, that's your sharp, sophisticated character or something. So pay attention to this step. Now, as you could see that we got 2 steps down. The first step is that we're gonna make a guideline, and then the second step is that drawing the circle, and we got it done. So now the third step is the actual eye shape. Remember that horizontal line that we drew earlier? That is your best friend here. You're gonna start from the front part of the eye, and then you're gonna drag curve across. So yeah, this is kind of like drawing a little mountain trail. You gotta bring it back all the way to the other side and let the end of the eye rest neatly on that same horizontal line, like this. You can kind of think of it like this. The line is your road and the curve is your dramatic roller coaster ride across it. That is how you get a natural balanced eye shape. Alright, now let's connect the bottom part so we actually have, you know, an eye instead of a half UFO. What I like to do is curve the back end of the lower lid just a tiny bit outward, so it gives the shape some life instead of looking stiff. You might not notice, but it's there, I swear. And this part is actually optional. Add a little bit of an under eye puff, kind of like, is it called an eye bag? I don't know, like the Asian Douyin makeup trend, the Ekyosal look. So totally optional, but it instantly makes the eye look cuter to me. Oh yeah, and don't forget the eyelid. If your character has a monolid, then yeah, skip that part. I respect the monolid, don't force it in. Alright, now the final boss is the eyeball. Now yes, in real life, humans technically have a perfect circle in there, but I do not care. Instead, what I like to do is that I like to give it a slight rectangular hint. So it's kind of like if a circle went into the gym and got a jawline. To me, it just looks way more stylish and dynamic. Okay, now for the eyelashes. Now, fair warning, if you're new to this, they might end up looking stiff, like broom bristles. Don't panic, we'll fix that. Here's what I recommend. Lower your brush transparency first, then slowly brush those lines upward. Think of soft and flowy, not stabby chaos. The important rule is that keep the base of the lash thicker, fatter than the tip. So that way it looks more natural, not like your character is wearing a spaghetti on her face. And please, this is my commandment, brush them in a curve. No straight lines shooting out of the eyeball. That's nightmare fuel. But I mean, if you like it, art has no rules. Do it. So as you can see, the front of the eye is slightly curved outward. In the middle, it can keep the curve gentle, not too extreme. But at the corner, outer corner, go dramatic. Give it that strong curve for maximum slay. Do whatever you want. And yes, finally, we made it to the coloring and rendering stage. I cut the part where the eyes actually come alive. Now first, ditch that sketch layer so you can see everything clean. Now we're going to block in the base colors. I'm using an airbrush for this soft, dreamy effect. But use whatever makes you feel powerful. Now we're actually going to add a little bit of blush. Go easy on it though. Low opacity, soft touch. We're not making a tomato. Now for the eyeshadow, think of it like a gradient. The darkest colors stays at the end of the eyelid for depth. For the front, just keep it light and soft. Don't drag the dark color all the way across or your character is gonna look like they lost a bar fight. Oh, and this is a personal choice moment. I smashed in some yellow just for fun. Totally optional, but sometimes chaos colors just work. We're gonna be sure to fill in all of the colors first before we go to the rendering part. You gotta fill in the iris also. And that white part of the eye. But here's the trick. Don't use pure white. Go for a slightly grayish or yellowish undertone. It looks way more natural and it just works. Okay, so here's what I recommend. I recommend shading the iris right away because we're going to paint all over our sketch to push it into that fully rendered polished look. So begin with your base eye color and then color in the darker shade into the top of the iris. After that, you go even darker at the very top so it looks deep and mysterious. And remember, keep your brush opacity low and a little bit transparent because that's the secret to blending smoothly instead of looking like you just slapped paint on potato. Now we are almost at the finish line. Are you still alive with me? Next is the rendering is magic. Here's my golden rule. Pick your colors straight from the canvas as you go. That's how you get those smooth, accurate blends that actually make sense. Now listen, this is important. I don't use the fancy blending tools. You could, but I don't. Instead, I blend by lowering the opacity of my brush and then just color picking all over and over again. I cannot stress this enough. Low opacity is your blending best friend. For the details, grab a slightly darker color shade and run it along the double eyelid for depth. And please, please, for the love of art, stop using pure pitch black. It kills the vibes. Instead, grab a darker tone on the more saturated side so that way the colors don't look muted. This way your colors and shadows still looks alive instead of flat and dead. And please don't take my words to heart. I recommend you experimenting with colors. Just because it doesn't work for me doesn't mean that it will not work for you. Okay, now we're almost done, y'all. Hang in there. Now for the cool light effect, grab a super light saturated color and just smash it into that bottom of the iris. That's where the glow party happens. Then drop a few subtle highlights in the middle of the eye so it feels a little bit of, glossy. But listen, this next part is the most important step. The spark, the soul, the game changer. This tiny spark literally brings your character to life. If your character's depressed, maybe skip this part. Okay, but here's what I do. Instead of a plain white dot, I feel like it's too boring. I grab a random fun colors and pop a dot there first. And then I layer a bit of white on top. That way the sparkle feels magical, And lastly, don't forget those lashes. Same rules as before. Curved and fat at the roots. Thin at the tips. Let them slay dramatically one last time. And that is it, y'all. We actually survived an eye tutorial together. Do you like it? Did I explain it in a way that made sense? Please say yes so I can sleep at night. If you enjoyed this video, smash that subscribe button. I'm literally broke artist out here, unemployed and fighting for my life. And your sub means I can keep making questionable art content instead of, I don't know, selling feet pics. And listen, I don't get commissions. I don't get sales. I'm basically speedrunning bankruptcy. So unless y'all want to see me making tutorials on how to draw tears, maybe hit that subscribe. Support your local chaotic artist. It's cheaper than buying food and you get content chaos in return. Help me survive in this economy.